You are not above the law, nor can you ignore the law when it serves your purpose. The sentences will be served consecutively for a total of 4.5 years.
Despite your efforts at the time to appear emotional and sad and distraught, it's clear to me that you're a remorseless killer.
I guess I broke policy, and I guess I made her feel uncomfortable, Your Honor.
In today's video, we will be going through the times when evil police officers met their match in courtrooms and were taken to the cleaners by these vigilant judges. In 2014, Butler police officer Brian Pregande was accused of disorderly conduct after taking inappropriate close-up photos of a woman's breasts whom he had previously arrested. He pleaded no contest to reduce the charge from a felony to a misdemeanor.
Mr. Pregande, if you give up all those rights today and thereby give up the right to have a trial, there's never going to be a trial in these matters, sir, and instead we are going to resolve it all here. Mr. Pregande, you're joining with your lawyer, sir, and pleading no contest to this disorderly conduct charge back from September the 8th, 2009. What is it specifically that you did that you're causing you to plead no contest to disorderly conduct here today, Mr. Pregande?
I took photos that were eventually blown up, I believe.
What?
I took photos of a female that I arrested.
Why would you plead no contest to a charge of disorderly conduct for having done that?
I guess I broke policy, and I guess I made her feel uncomfortable, Your Honor.
Why would you have made her feel uncomfortable, sir?
The judge didn't take the charge easily, as he started questioning the officer and ended up taking the case to trial with a felony charge. Well, this officer got to know the court is not a place to mess around. This next cop's life ended in a courtroom.
Despite your efforts at the time to appear emotional and sad and distraught, it's clear to me that you're a remorseless killer.
A former Idaho police officer, Daniel Howard, was arrested in April 2023 in connection to the murder of his wife, Kendi. The case proceeded to a trial, and after 2 weeks of testimony from witnesses and investigators, the jury reached a verdict.
1. Is the defendant, Daniel C. Howard, guilty or not guilty of domestic battery? Guilty. Count 2. Is the defendant, Daniel C. Howard, guilty or not guilty of murder in the first degree? Not guilty. Is the defendant, Daniel Howard, guilty or not guilty of second-degree murder? Guilty.
Counsel, I'm proposing a sentencing date of May 23rd at 1:30 p.m. That's available. I will order a PSI or a pre-sentence investigation. Mr. Howard, I'll have you talk with your attorney about that. You have the right to participate or not participate in that. You continue to have the right to remain silent. Members of the jury, I'm going to read you a closing instruction. I'm giving you a lot of instructions during this case. You, Howard, is remanded into custody. I'll see everyone back May 23rd at 1:30 for sentencing. Thank you. We will be in recess.
Howard was found guilty of second-degree murder and domestic battery. It was revealed that the couple were having marriage problems and shared $2 million in assets, which was Howard's motive for murder.
I struggle with guilt, and I struggle with not knowing. I wish I could have convinced her to stay with me instead of going home that night. The fear on her face and in her voice when she told me about how she woke up with him standing over her. Well, nothing will fill the hole he has created. Nothing can fix or undo what he has done. But her name can be free. The thought that he can no longer have control over her name, her memory, and her spirit gives me...
Not that monster, I assure you, that people are portraying.
Despite a heartfelt plea from Kendi's daughter, Howard maintained his innocence, insisting he did not murder her. Ultimately, the judge proceeded with the sentence and had some strong words for the killer.
But what we know, beyond a reasonable doubt, is that you strangled your wife, you murdered her, and then you staged her naked body in the bathtub, shot her through the mouth, and tried to pass this off as a suicide. That's proven beyond a reasonable doubt. And you know, often in horrible crimes like this, everybody wants to know why. And often we don't know why. And I can't get inside your brain, but the pretty clear evidence, I agree with the state, is that this was due to, you know, jealousy, greed, pride, anger, revenge, some combination of that.
The murder had happened in 2021, and for 2 years, Howard had maintained that the entire incident was a suicide. It is safe to say that this ugly human had no remorse for his actions.
You didn't just, when you killed Kendi, you didn't just kill your wife. You killed a mother, you killed a grandmother, you killed a sister, you killed a daughter, you killed a coworker. You killed somebody who brought a lot of life and light to those around her and those she touched. And you snuffed that out because of your own pride, greed, and anger. Despite your efforts at the time to appear emotional and sad and distraught, it's clear to me that you're a remorseless killer. And I don't say that lightly. I don't say that lightly at all because we don't like to think that anybody would be like that. Remorse, the lack of remorse, the lack of caring, and just the callous disregard that you had for Kendi and how her death affected those around her. And that you had these same thoughts. You were talking about allowing people to live through your own self-control and restraint, understanding why people would kill their, quote, old ladies and go to prison. And so you're 58 years old. I don't see a lot of rehabilitation, sadly, in your future. Maybe, perhaps, but that's not a significant mitigating factor in sentencing you.
The judge was measured and thoughtful as he delivered a crucial speech trying to knock some conscience into the former police officer, who sat through it pretty emotionless.
The public needs to know that there is a severe punishment for murdering your wife. And there's no sort of mitigation because the marriage is on the rocks or the wife was unfaithful or things like that. There's absolutely no justification here for murdering your wife. And I think it's important that the sentence sends that message. But what I know beyond a reasonable doubt is that you strangled or asphyxiated your wife. You murdered her. You staged her body to be found as if it were suicide. It's an outrageously egregious murder. And of course, all murder is, but this is particularly heinous in my view, having sat through the trial and seen all the evidence.
As the judge explained, this was quite a heinous crime, and the sentence needed to reflect its gravity.
And gravity of the offense standing alone is sufficient to justify a fixed life sentence. And that is what I'm going to impose here. I think Kendi's family deserves to have that closure. The crime is so egregious that I don't think...
The judge handed down a life sentence for the heinous crime with no possibility of parole. Howard can now reflect on his life and attempt to change, but he'll be doing so within the confines of a prison cell. While this officer was owned badly, these next two officers did something strange in a courtroom. A hearing was going on in a courtroom in DeLand, Florida, when a couple of police officers got a little swayed away. Things got a little too much when the male deputy struck her colleague's face by his handkerchief. She even went over to swipe his face with a highlighter, all while the courtroom watched.
She returns the favor with a solid arm punch, then swipes his face with a highlighter. A third deputy can be seen covering his mouth as the friendly fight continues to escalate.
It is or is not?
The friendly fight escalated as the deputies were completely unaware of the surroundings. The female deputy even opened a taser in the courtroom, and when the other deputy tried to get to his handkerchief, she just casually tossed it away. However, this wasn't the end of their friendly fire, as Deputy Wells delivered a final blow. Although the deputy's behavior went unnoticed by the judge, an internal affairs investigation later cited both officers for horseplay and other distracting activities during the court session. As a result, both deputies were suspended for 16 hours. Now that was a lighter moment, but we are shifting back to the trial of one of the most notorious criminals in this country.
1. The court commits you to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for a period of 270 months. That's 270.
In May of 2020, the whole world was shocked by the death of George Floyd. The murderer, Derek Chauvin, was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. During the trial, the attorneys also called the officer on stage who had made an earlier stop on Mr. Floyd.
You approached George Floyd on May 6th of 2019, is that right?
That's correct, yes.
And you had your gun drawn when you approached Mr. Floyd, isn't that right?
Yes, I pulled it, yes.
And when you approached Mr. Floyd, he said, "Don't shoot me, man, I don't want to get shot," right?
Something like that, yes.
You told him to undo his seatbelt, correct?
That's correct, yes, ma'am.
And he did that, right?
Yes, he did.
And then you said, "Put your hands where I can see them," correct?
Yes.
And then he put his hands in the air?
Yes.
And then you told him to put his hands on the dash, is that right?
That's correct.
And that was when you grabbed his hand and forcibly put it on the dashboard. And you had your gun drawn the whole time. You were giving commands, right?
Once I started ordering him and he refused to show me his hands, yes, eventually it escalated where I pulled my gun, yes, ma'am.
And he was awake, correct?
What's that, ma'am?
Mr. Floyd was awake. Was he awake during this incident?
Yes.
He was conscious? You were interacting with Mr. Floyd. He didn't collapse on the ground, correct?
Wait a minute, what was the question? Can you speak up a little louder, ma'am?
While you were interacting with Mr. Floyd, he didn't collapse on the ground, correct?
No, he did not.
Well, the answer is stricken. The objection is sustained.
You were asking questions about what the other officers were doing, correct?
That's correct.
Your attention was focused on Mr. Floyd, correct?
Yes, it was.
And Mr. Floyd didn't drop dead while you were interacting with him, correct?
Finally, after a short trial, the judge was ready to announce the sentence for Mr. Chauvin. But before that, he had to make an important announcement.
I've read all the impact statements that were submitted earlier and listened carefully to all the input here today. And it is truly appreciated that you took the time to stay with this case and to provide me with input. I have reviewed the pre-sentence investigation and carefully considered all the facts of the case and the law, but my comments are actually going to be very brief because most of it's going to be in writing. I have a 22-page memorandum that is going to be attached to the sentencing order. And why am I doing it in writing? To emphasize the fact that determining the appropriate sentence in any case, and in this case, is a legal analysis. It's applying the rule of law to the facts of an individual and specific case. And that is why, as opposed to trying to being profound here on the record, I prefer that you read the legal analysis that explains how I determined the sentence in this case.
The judge emphasized that, despite worldwide protests, the sentence was not swayed by public opinion, but was solely based on the law.
It's been painful throughout Hennepin County, throughout the state of Minnesota, and even the country. But most importantly, we need to recognize the pain of the Floyd family. I'm not going to attempt to be profound or clever because it's not the appropriate time. I'm not basing my sentence also on public opinion. I'm not basing it on any attempt to send any messages. I'm trial court judge, the job of a trial court judge, is to apply the law to specific facts and to deal with individual cases.
However, knowing the relevance of the case and how important it was to set a precedent for any incidents that might happen like this, the judge handed down a greater sentence.
Mr. Chauvin, as to count 1, based on the verdict of the jury finding you guilty of unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony under Minnesota Statute 609.19 subdivision 2 paren 1, it is the judgment of the court that you now stand convicted of that offense. Pursuant to Minnesota Statute section 609.04, counts 2 and 3 will remain unadjudicated as they are lesser offenses of count 1. As sentenced for count 1, the court commits you to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for a period of 270 months. That's 270. That is a 10-year addition to the presumptive sentence of 150 months. This is based on your abuse of a position of trust and authority, and also the particular cruelty shown to George Floyd. You are granted credit for 199 days already served. Pay the mandatory surcharge of $78 to be paid from prison wages. You're prohibited from possessing firearms, ammunition, or explosives for the remainder of your life. Provide a DNA sample as required by law. Register as a predatory offender as required by law. And then you will receive a copy of the order and also the attached memorandum explaining the court.
This needs to be said. We just ask that it be executed forthwith.
Defendant is remanded to the custody of the sheriff to be transported back to the DOC or whichever custody is currently holding him. Anything for the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. We are adjourned.
Finally, he sentenced the corrupt officer to 22.5 years in prison, and he would be gone for quite a long time. Now moving on, here's another sheriff who was humiliated and was found guilty in court later.
You are not above the law, nor can you ignore the law when it serves your purpose. The sentences will be served consecutively for a total of 4.5 years.
It all began in 2017 when Rio Arriba County's Sheriff James Lujan helped his friend, City Councilor Philip Chacon, evade arrest after numerous deputies were after him. Santa Fe County did not like this behavior from Lujan and initiated an investigation that proved how the sheriff had been misusing his authority and overstepping his bounds. The deputies got a search warrant for his mobile phone and went over to the sheriff's office to detain him.
Morning, sir. Executing search warrant. Sheriff Lujan.
Search warrant for him or?
For the building as well.
For what?
I have no idea. It's house. But no, just stay here. No, I can't have you enter the scene.
You guys are fucked up, man.
Why are they beating on things?
You guys want to put him?
Let's get him on the opposite side of this truck.
Let's go over here, sir.
Cody?
Let's go on the opposite side.
Sir, let's walk over here.
Why is that, dude? That's messed up,
Let's
dude.
walk over here.
Sure. That's what I'm saying. Let's get him on the opposite side of this truck.
Well, you got Tabitha over there.
Right here,
Right here. I got the press out here taking pictures of me and Hank.
The sheriff considered himself too entitled to be subject to a search like this. He still couldn't believe what was happening, and the deputies had to knock some sense into him.
Push him around into the doorway. Yeah, push him around into the doorway. At least to the doorway.
This is ridiculous.
Keep him up there.
Hold on, we have press.
Keep him up there. Come over here, sir.
Keep
him up there.
Sheriff,
go.
What are you doing?
Stay out here.
Ah, Jesus.
Really? You don't have to.
Look
just
to
stand.
you. Look behind
just
you.
stand. Just stand.
Stand up, bro. Stand up.
Put him on this side of the truck. Put him on the outside of the truck.
It hurts.
They're loose, sir. They're loose.
No, they're not loose. Can you take these handcuffs off? They hurt. They hurt. Am I under arrest?
You're being detained.
Well, yeah. Why do I have to have cuffs on? They hurt.
The deputies informed him that he had an active search warrant against him. Realizing the problem that he was in, the sheriff refused to comply and asked to consult his attorney.
So on this is signed by a district court judge. Okay. Judge Bowman. Okay. First judicial. Okay. So this search warrant gives me the authorization to seize your phone. Okay. Search your phone. Okay. But it also gives me the authorization. So what I'm asking for you to do is unlock your phone, unlock it, give it back to me, and I'm going to remove the security settings. I don't want your passcode. I'm not asking for your passcode. I'm asking you to unlock the phone. Per the search warrant, you can read it if you want under number 2.
I will if I get a chance to talk to my attorney.
It doesn't work like that.
Marty,
this is not a negotiation.
Mira.
This is not a negotiation, Sheriff. This is not a negotiation.
Kind of shocking that a sheriff doesn't quite understand how a warrant works. One has to wonder how many warrants he had dealt with during his time. He conveniently ignored the officer's demands, and now he faces arrest instead.
You can talk to your attorney when this is all done. When this is all done, you can call your attorney. But right now, we're trying to get you to comply with the warrant. The warrant stipulates exactly what we want. You give us that, we'll get the phone, we're out of here. That's it. What do you want to do, Sheriff?
Right now, I am under arrest. Because I am under arrest. I am in handcuffs. I'm not free to leave. I'm not free to leave? Am I free to leave?
No.
No. Then, if I'm under arrest, I have a right to an attorney, correct?
You do.
Okay.
And I'm not questioning you.
I'm invoking my right to an attorney right now. Okay. Do you understand that?
So, take him in.
Book me for
booking. For obstruction. Obstruction.
Booking. I'm not obstructing.
Take him over here to our unit. Take him over here to our unit.
Over here, Sheriff. Over here. Sheriff.
They're gonna book me.
Really?
Look at this shit. Look.
Stop. Just walk.
What are you doing?
The sheriff was being humiliated right in front of his own office, but he chose to be in handcuffs rather than give his phone away.
I'm telling you what the warrant stipulates.
I understand that.
I told you what the warrant stipulates. You had every opportunity to cooperate. You want to cooperate, you're going to jail. Have a seat, sir.
Alright, good. Why is already take the whole thing off? No, I haven't been searched. Just take me so we can do it.
I just want to make sure you don't have any knives.
I don't have any knives. I don't have any weapons. That's my wallet.
It's your wallet. What's this?
My keys to my truck. I don't have any weapons. Okay, I really don't. You took my weapon. As a matter of fact, you left it on the back of my truck over there. Did you get somebody to secure it,
We'll
please?
secure everything for you. Have a seat.
Can you move these to the front?
No, sir. Against department policy. Have a seat.
Well, it's tighter than hell. They hurt.
Sheriff, those are very, very loose.
Really?
Step
Nah.
out. Let me see if I can fix them. They're very, very loose.
The sheriff's colleagues didn't take the arrest easily as they started intimidating the Santa Fe deputies. After all, they were in Rio Arriba and arrested their sheriff.
That's his mag, and then we're gonna get you his sidearm.
Get everything. I don't want part of it.
What do you mean everything?
Everything.
So this is what we took off this person? You're the one that took it off this person? Took it off this person. Deputy Graves.
Well, inventory it before you give it to me.
We're handing it right over to you.
You guys are doing. We're trying to do everything peacefully. We tried to. Okay? That's all we're doing. We're done here. We're leaving.
Okay, well, get out of here then. You're done. Get out.
We'll leave when we're ready.
You said you were done.
Yeah, we're wrapping it up right now. You know how it goes. You know how it goes. We're doing our law enforcement duties. That's it. District court signed it. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, so as soon as we're done, we're going to get out of your hair. Why are you calling everybody here to put them involved?
This is our house.
Well, right now it's ours. Right now it's ours.
Oh, wow.
We own the building right now.
Shut up.
Don't talk to me like that.
Shut up.
I don't work for you. Don't talk to me like that.
Easy,
easy. Get that and let's go. Are we done in there? Are we done?
Despite pressure being added, the deputy stuck to their task and took the sheriff straight to the police station for further interrogation.
I have no idea, sir.
You find out from him?
You go ask her. Well, this is your house. You go ask her.
Oh, now it's my house.
Yeah, it is now. Because we just gave it back to you.
Ah, these things hurt. God.
Eventually, the sheriff was charged with 2 felonies, aiding a felon and intimidating a victim. The case went to trial and the judge took the corrupt sheriff to the cleaners.
The people of Rio Arriba County elected you to be sheriff. They put their trust in you to uphold the law and...
Yes, Your Honor, I try to do the best that I can to help everybody I can, and I in no way would want.
The law is the law. The law is the law. The law is the law. You let down the people of Rio Arriba County, and you let down the sheriff's department, the department that you led. What kind of example were you giving the people that you supervised?
He was sentenced to 3 years in prison, and just a day after the conviction, he resigned from his position as sheriff. Well, that brings us to the end of our video today. We witnessed corrupt cops getting held accountable in the courtroom, and these clips serve as reminders that police officers are not above the law and must abide by it at all times. These officers certainly learned why it is unacceptable to break the law, and if you do agree with me, please consider showing your support by liking this video, and also make sure to subscribe to stay informed about future cases like these. Also, if you enjoyed this video, check out the next video right here.